Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I am Mick Alphaneme. So we're going to begin here with a little bit of XRP news. Down below the video, you'll see the video line with little dashes in it. Those are the chapters. Each one is a different topic, different article. All right. So we're going to begin here with this article on U.Today. And it's titled XRP Flips Cardano ADA. But that's not what's important. If you scroll down on this article, you'll see a little section here. And it's titled, Here's How Ripple Could Win Outright. Now, that's what's important. I always felt that we could win overall. Not like just a settlement. It's sure, okay, that's okay too. Whatever it takes for us to get to this next stage and allow XRP to do what it does best. So that price can take off like a rocket, and then we can, maybe come by way of generational wealth. So let's read this little tidbit here, and it goes as such. It says, crypto law founder and blockchain enthusiast John Deaton explains the only way the judge could give Ripple an outright win in the ongoing SEC lawsuit. It says, think of how arrogant the SEC is to claim that if a foreign country deems something legal tender, it will still be a security. I said that as well, long time ago, actually, because, the rest of the world is moving forward with regulatory clarity. The rest of the world could take certain actions. They only have not, out of respect for the powers that are in the United States. And now the reason I say that is because everything is so intertangled and intertwined that we're basically residing in a globalist system, but a light version of it. All the legacy banking systems, for the most part, are interconnected. A lot of businesses cross back and forth. United States needs China, China needs United States, things like that, just as an example. So once again, I reiterate, this is more like a light version of a globalist system already. So they have to show some respect, because if they step on the wrong toes, we already know the West will make you pay. They're very vengeful. So that's why they haven't taken certain actions just yet. It's the same reason why a lot of institutional money is on the side. It's not about price. It's not about price. And I'll tell you this, at certain levels, certain price levels don't even matter, because money is not an issue for a lot of big money institutions and even big money people. That's not a problem. So it doesn't matter if XRP is 43 cents, 34 cents, $1, $2, $5, $3. That's not what's important. But what's important is not to step on those regulatory toes, and understand that there's a lot of money flowing around out there. So the regulators are connected with some of the people in Senate and Congress. They're connected with the people that lobby. They're sitting down to dinners with these people that lobby. So now all of those entities are connected with big businesses. And let me tell you something right now, the big businesses run everything. Let me say that again. The big businesses run everything. All right. So they're all intertwined. Now, that's why they wouldn't get in now, because that portion of the legacy system has said, wait a minute, not yet. We have some things we want to do. We have some infrastructures we want to set up. We have some rigors we want them to go through first. And so everyone else is going to back off. It's not about price. They're going to say, wait, okay, well, we'll wait for the go ahead, which is regulatory clarity, which is the ending of the SEC case. Things like that, I mean, not them both conflated together, but things like that. That's why they're going to wait, not price. I know a lot of people will say, well, why don't they just buy it now? Buy it right off the market now. No. It's not about price. It's not about money. It will be, but there's a certain level of respect you have to give to entities that can literally crush your business and your life. You have to give that respect. And they're not. And let me tell you something. When you're doing well and you're sitting on a lot of capital, that's not really a risk that most of those companies are willing to take. Heck, that's not a risk a lot of people are willing to take, no matter how tough they talk. That's not a risk a lot of people are willing to take. All right, so just want to put that out there. But anyway, yeah, I did feel the same way, that was arrogance. It says here, think of how arrogant the SEC is to claim that if a foreign country deems something legal tender, it will still be a security. Yeah, they have very little respect. It says the way that the judge could give Ripple an outright victory is simply reject the SEC's sweeping claims. I think there's a good possibility of that, but we have to wait and see. Everything right now is in Judge Annalisa, the Honorable Judge Annalisa Torres's hands. And let us all hope that the judge makes, I believe, the right decision. It says, reject the SEC's sweeping claims and say you didn't prove any specific transaction. If El Salvador would have made hashtag XRP legal tender like it did with hashtag Bitcoin, the SEC is claiming it would all be due to Ripple's past, present, and future efforts, which is absolutely ridiculous. You see how ridiculous that sounds? Exactly. Let's hope the judge sees it that way. It is an extraordinarily all-encompassing theory, but that's not how securities laws get applied. Exactly. I agree with John Deaton 100%. Very well stated, sir. I appreciate your work and everything you've been doing. Now, let's move on to this next article here. We have quite a few. I don't want to keep you here too long. You guys having a good Saturday out there? I hope you are. And if you like any part of this video, I would greatly appreciate it. If you click that little like button down below, I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you. So now, this is a little article. It's also on U.Today, but it's titled, Ripple CTO explains why XRP is a commodity. All right, let's see what Mr. Schwartz has to say here. It says here, Ripple CTO David Schwartz recently took to Twitter to explain why XRP meets the definition of a commodity. Who would be better to explain that than the creator of XRP himself, or one of them at least? It says here, he claims that it is a raw good that trades in commerce, with each XRP token being treated as equal to any other token, correct? Moreover, no part of the cryptocurrency's value is derived from another party's legal, that's important, legal obligations to XRP holders. That is important to keep in mind. All right, so listen, you want to read the rest of this article, like I said, head over to U.Today, give them some traffic. They've been doing a great job over there. Coingape.com, all right? And it's titled, XRP Lawsuit, Judge Can Deny Both Ripple SEC Summary Judgment Motion. All right, let's see what they're talking about here. I want to scroll down, actually. It says here on this little paragraph, is Ripple case going to jury? Deaton stated that the experts have failed to consider that the judge could go on to deny both summary judgment motions. It's definitely not something that I thought of, and definitely not something I've heard before. It says, this decision will lead the XRP lawsuit to a jury. That could be interesting. I would rather this be over now as soon as possible, but of course I'm trying to remain patient and let everything happen, hopefully satisfactorily, the best way that it can happen. We'll see. It says, it is near to impossible to predict any outcome of the case until the Rule 56 facts are read out. The SEC, in a response to amicus curiae's writ of mandamus, admitted that the court will now make a decision over whether the commission's theory is valid or not. Okay, so that's one possibility. The very aspect of it not having been discussed very often, I'm going to take that. Hopefully I'm taking it the right way, as though there's not a great possibility of that happening, that we are going to receive some sort of judgment and conclusion to this. I would love for there to be conclusion as soon as possible, so we can get on with this. Let that price explode a little bit. I say a little bit because that's just the flood, although people are going to make probably insane profits. The people are sitting on a ton of XRP, ton of XLM, things of that nature. So I'm ready to get this stuff started, to be quite honest. And I know that Ripple and a lot of other Bankcoin companies, it's my humble opinion and from things that I've heard, are sitting on massive, possibly massive announcements. I want that to take place. So that's going to be very healthy as well for all of these different ecosystems. What they've been releasing now is good, but what they're holding, or rather what they're working on as far as partnerships and deals, massive. I mean, you have to know that. If you're putting together all the puzzle pieces, you can see where this is heading, right? So now, let's move on to another article here. So now a little bit of Algorand news. You know, Algorand is deep when it comes to music. You have Dequency, you have Napster, you have LimeWire. I mean, the list just goes on and on. They're doing great when it comes to gaming, healthcare, traceability. What are we leaving out? Healthcare, gaming, music. I think they had, what was that entertainment offering they have also? I think they have an entertainment offering where there's like videos involved. You can watch TV or something like that. Something of that nature. But almost in every way, Algorand has been dominating, doing a great job. The banking sector, they've been dominating there. So now they have this tweet here. Oculus app. Platform launch update starting February the 1st. We will unveil a new artist every week. Okay, that's a good way to keep people interested. And start opening early access to MFT drops via our Apple staking pool. Like I said, I think a lot of these music artists are going to make a killing when it comes to these music NFTs. They already have before, but not in mass. Like now we're starting to see them trying to go a little bit more mainstream with these MFTs, as they're calling them. So this could be good. Listen, anything that brings more traffic to Algorand, possibly use more algo, bring a little bit more light to algo, that's what I'm all for. Let's grow this ecosystem as big as possible. And then hopefully that affects the price action positively in the future. And I think with everything that everyone is doing that's building on Algorand, I think that that's a positive thing. And the future is looking very bright. It's just going to take a little bit of patience. But everyone knows these are not quick money plays. These are long holes for a reason. But if you watch the catalyst, you watch the infrastructure is being built, you understand who is leading those blockchains, then you can have kind of see a path to where it's everything is heading. Sorry about that. A little tired, so my eloquence is a little bit off. But we're going to continue on. We're going to continue to work hard, continue to do our best. That's what we do. Champions fight through. Even just a little bit of tiredness, champions fight through that. Now, another tweet from the Algorand Foundation. It says here, how did Neo Moon app reach 170,000 users in Latin America? That's what I want to hear. Latin America's taking off. They have an idea. A lot of different countries in Latin America have ideas about where they want to go, and they want to use distributed ledger technologies to do it. Also, because a lot of countries and regions and places in Latin America want to shake off the legacy system, which hasn't been healthy for almost anybody that's in so-called developing countries around the world. Because of that, they're more open to using distributed ledger technologies and taking the power unto themselves, which I've always believed that's the best way to do it. You should be calling your own shots. I don't care if you're a country or you're a business or you're an individual. You should be calling your own shots. You should be deciding what you want to do and what's best for you. And no one that's thousands of miles away should be telling you what to do with yourself, your family, or your people, in my humble opinion. That's how I feel. And the system hasn't worked so far, so let's bring something in that does work. You see, they've been working a lot with Algorand. Now, with all that possible volume, all these possible wallets, traceability, the movement and tokenization of land and things like that, commodities, especially in Latin America, Africa as well, all of that possibly moving across Algorand in the future, what can it do to that price? I think it will raise a little bit. I don't know. It's just my humble opinion. We could raise a little bit, raise the token. It could. So here it says Fedor Saldivia, founder and CEO, shared all about their solution to bring stablecoin solutions to Latin America that is taking the region by storm. Remember, stablecoins are just basically a light version of a CBDC. That's all it is. You know, you add a little bit of programmability to it, some smart contract functionality, you got yourself a CBDC, a retail CBDC, all right? So that's also going to be key in the future. If any banks choose to absorb stable coins, utilize stable coins, that's going to be a heck of a lot of traffic across whichever blockchains they're flowing across. And with interoperability, there's enough money to go around. Always remember that there's more than enough money to go around. So, but we'll keep our eye on these things. So now let's move on to here. A little bit of stellar news. So this little tweet here says, it's from Stellar, and it says, another year, another game-changing World Economic Forum in the books. Discussions on building real-world blockchain solutions have set the tone for a more hopeful future. Now, they left it very obtuse. We've seen this type of language before recently, where they leave a term very obtuse. Now, what they've been focusing on as of recent is the aid assist that they've been working on with the United Nations, which is interesting. You also heard the United Nations mention Ripple and XRP. Well, actually not Ripple. I think they specifically were just talking about XRP, but we covered an article like that, I think, in the last video, which was a very good one, by the way. But it says discussions on building real world blockchain solutions. They left it obtuse. So now we know that they're going to be talking about a lot more than just aid assist, because also we know that the World Economic Forum praised Stellar for cross-border payments. Now, when you're talking about cross-border payments and Stellar, you also got to keep in mind what stable coins as well, right? Stable coins, because stable coins are like a light version of a CBDC. All stable coins are going to require liquidity in the future. Or not only that, I'll say this also, I'll go a little step further. All stable coins may need to be backed by something a little firmer than just having it pegged to the dollar. No, it may need to be pegged to gold. It may need to be pegged to oil or something like that. We saw that project. They already tested that. Or to some commodity that actually gives it true value, not fiat currency. It doesn't need to be pegged to something that's fake and fictional. That era is coming to an end. So that could definitely affect the price of XLM. Every wallet has to hold a modicum of XLM. XLM is used for transaction fees. Also, another problem, illiquidity. So many things have been rendered illiquid that it will be illogical. I reiterate this. I said this before in 2 videos back, but it will be illogical for Stellar to leave one of their prime uses for XLM, which is to provide liquidity for otherwise illiquid assets. It would be silly to leave that aspect in the dust. No, I don't think so. I think they're waiting for regulatory clarity, and I think, boom, we're going to see instant liquidity. We're going to see lumens used to provide liquidity for a lot of assets that are otherwise illiquid and would not move. Even when you look at the Fed, what did the Fed tell everybody? The Fed said, hey, listen, a lot of things that we have are illiquid. So even the Fed has illiquid assets. So this is a problem across the board. Then if you look at the banks, if you're going to work with the banks, you have to know about their liquidity, right? You can't be under delusion. Now, all the pros, including some individuals within the banking system, have already let us know, we read the articles, that the banks have almost no liquidity. Fractionalized banking has destroyed them. All right? That paired with a lot of crises, that paired also with the fact that a lot of people don't trust the banks anymore, also congeal with all of that, interest rate increases and such, right? So all of these things play a part. So if Stellar's going to be working with banks, if anybody's going to be working with banks, you're going to have to be able to provide liquidity. And then ask yourself this: if they're ever at any point going to be using lumens to provide liquidity for otherwise illiquid assets, and I believe that they must, what will it do to that price? And Stellar is all over the world. They're all over the world. They're working with certain businesses. They're working with a myriad of banks. They're trying to bank the unbanked. Of all the different currencies around the world obviously can flow through Stellar. So they're trying to bank the unbanked. I mean, all of these different things. How much liquidity would you need? What would it do to that price? Now, this is just theoretical. There's no guarantees. Of course, not financial advice, but this is what I'm thinking about. And when I think about that, I say to myself, XLM is a sleeping beast waiting to take off. And really, it's not sleeping. Look at everything they've done within this last month in January. That doesn't get you fired up? Hey, I'm a little different. Definitely gets me fired up, gets me excited. Because if they're doing all this now, what are they going to be doing later? Especially with regulatory clarity, or if Ripple has a positive outcome to this SEC case. And Ripple and Stellar are like this. You know why. So keep your eye on that, and we'll see where everything goes. Let's continue on here. So we have this tweet here. Also, this is from Danelle Dixon. It says, joining at CFTC to make real world blockchain solutions an industry-wide reality. That's powerful. There's only 2 sentences here, and they are very powerful. So once again, they left it open-ended. Why? Because they're discussing everything Stellar can do. That has to include the tokenization of everything. Listen, when they were at Davos, they're showing you how they talk to everyone around all industries. This is not specifically at Davos where they're telling people about just generally how good Stellar is. That's what they were doing the entire time. And the large business people, the banking heads, everyone there was very interested. Pay close attention to that. Now, if they're interested, they're going to utilize Stellar for a variety of different reasons. Smart contracts. They're going to utilize the smart contract capability. They're going to use the liquidity possibly, right? I would think that they would. They can create their own liquidity pools with Stellar. They're going to use it for cross-border payments. They're going to use it for interbank payments. They're going to use it for a myriad of different things. So this is why when they speak, they're leaving things very open-ended now, understanding that with all the interactions they've had as of recent, that they have struck up the possibility of having a multitude of partnerships. So there's no reason to pigeonhole Stellar to just being used for aid. While aid, United Nations aid and all other different types of aid, Stellar aid assist, that's great. That's great. But they don't want to pigeonhole themselves. So now the speech has gotten more obtuse to bring in more possibilities of partnerships. That's strategic. Tell me if, I mean, this is what I'm thinking. Tell me if you're thinking along the same lines. This is very, very good. This tells me that they understand the potentiality of what can happen. And I like it. Keep doing a good job, Stellar. I'm looking forward to what's going to be happening in the future. All right. So I had a request to talk a little bit about CELO in one of the recent comment sections, and I never worry about CELO really, because CELO goes so parabolic so easily. It's unbelievable. They've been growing their ecosystem exponentially. If you go on their CELO Twitter and then you do a search for like their ecosystem, it's been growing very, very well. But they have this tweet here, @nowpayments_io now supports CELO and CUSD. So the more CELO is utilized, the better, obviously. But one of their key use cases is universal basic income. Now, here's an interesting little tidbit about that. The World Economic Forum has been pushing for universal basic income everywhere. And not just the World Economic Forum, like a lot of political figures pushing universal basic income everywhere. CELO is beloved by the World Economic Forum. Also, CELO is owned by, I think, Deutsche Telekom, which either owns or used to own the majority of T-Mobile. So that's also an interesting little connection there. But the company that is still pushing universal basic income everywhere on CELO, it was this company here, Impact Market. Impact Market, all right? And if you scroll down, you go to their Twitter, Impact Market, and you scroll down, you see that they put out a new wallet. And what's the first bullet point they have on that wallet? Integrated universal basic income. So then you scroll down here and you see the CELO connection. They're still promoting the CELO connection. But first you see a tweet here where they're working in Uganda. Like they're working in Uganda. They're working in various parts of Africa. They're working in Afghanistan. This company is making some moves. So it's something to keep in mind. You start having a consistent, look, universal basic income, that's a paycheck like every week, every 2 weeks, something like that. People are getting paid this, sort of like how you go to your job and you get a paycheck, but universal income, basic income, you don't have to go to a job. It's just that capital is constantly flowing. That could be major. That's a consistent higher value than what's moving across CELO right now. And a consistent higher volume. If ever this really goes off globally, right? Because that's really what they want. They want this globalist universal basic income system. But they're just testing it out right now in various areas. Now they have this tweet here says the hashtag CELO evolution. This is posted by Impact Market. The hashtag CELO evolution is here and is introducing a bold new direction for the CELO community. Build for impact. We are proud to be a part of the movement that is creating conditions of prosperity for everyone, everywhere. So that's something that I watch for. Really, is just generally what's happening with universal basic income in relation or in correlation with CELO. That's their big use case right now. Don't get me wrong, they can do CBDCs, but I haven't heard anything about them partnering up with any banks for the CBDCs, but that could just be me. Maybe someone else knows about that. But universal basic income is going to be massive in the future, especially, and I think they want to do that. So another thing I've been paying attention to is if CELO is positioning itself to be a mover of universal basic income, especially when it comes to the unbanked, right? It makes sense as to why, if you scroll down their Twitter page, they've been doing a lot of connecting with people on the ground, a lot hosting a lot of community things. Like here on January 20th, it says, last week, the global cello community came together to celebrate cello evolution with brand reveal launch parties and cello block party. They've been doing a lot of this stuff. So they have something here going on in Turkey. Then they also have something here where they say sharing an update on progress. Remember, one thing the World Economic Forum said about cello was they were talking about scalability. It says now they have this deal with at Miston Labs, a partnership, and it says the collaboration toward blockchain scalability continues. So I'm putting it together. They're connecting with a lot of people on the ground, trying to let people in unbanked regions know about cello. One. Then number two, they're increasing scalability. That means they're preparing for something massive. Massive. Remember, it doesn't take a lot for that cello price to go parabolic. It already went parabolic. When we first started talking about cello, it was at a very low price. Remember that? It was at a very low price. And then, just like Algorand and a lot of other protocol that we were talking about at the time, then it went parabolic multiple times. It hit like $9.50, $9.80. I don't know. It was something high. People were buying cello around that time. It was like $1.40, $2, $2.40. Then it would go down. And then when that bull run started, it went to like $9, $10, something like that. You could look up the all-time high. And it went multiple times. It would go down, it would go up, it would go down to 5, then it would go up to 10. That's without any major partnerships or utility being used. So cello goes off very easily. Here's another thing I try to keep in mind with cello is that a lot of times when big money people make a good amount of money off something, they remember that asset. Like they remember, like, listen, people have a taste for Bitcoin. They say, well, I can make some good money with Bitcoin. That's why I do believe Bitcoin's going to be around for quite some time, because it's always going to be a good way for people to make a big amount of money. Bitcoin, they have a taste for. Quant, they have a taste for. Cello, they have a taste for. Just I'm putting those all in line because they've exploded multiple times. So anyone who's made money off of them, I would think is going to be back for a second, third, maybe fourth helping. It's easy money, in my humble opinion. This is not financial advice. This does not mean go out and buy some cello. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm just sharing my opinion. That's all not financial advice. This doesn't mean buy cello. This doesn't mean sell cello at all in any way, shape, or form. Okay? I'm not here for retail money. I'm here for the bank money only. That's it. I can get retail money in the stock market easily. So I just want to put that out there, right? Somebody may take it the wrong way. I better buy some cello. Listen, that's not what I'm telling you to do. You got to make the best decisions possible for yourself. Best decision for some people might be to save some money, take care of their family. I don't know. But I hope everyone's being safe out there. Don't let anyone control your mind. No one. Be careful with your mind. Protect it at all times. Protect it at all times. So now let's move on to another article here. So I wanted to just cover this little article on coinedition.com. It's titled, Crypto Has a Major Role in UAE's Global Trade. It says Al Zayudi, who's in deep, not just in the UAE, who's in deep in the MENA region. XRP, XLM, Algorand, and who else? Hedera, HBAR. We've covered it, which shows you all the banks that they're working with, all the companies that they're working with. Now you have lots of high-ranking individuals, actually. This has been for weeks they've been talking like this in the MENA region, and also more specifically in the United Arab Emirates. For weeks we've been covering this type of thing. Actually, it's months, but I'll just say weeks, right? It's been more heavily done the last few weeks. They're looking at that tokenization aspect, moving that capital around easily. Traceability is going to be key to save money and tokenizing all those commodities. They understand that times are changing. Also, they're not, listen, SWIFT is done. They need a system also to utilize for more capabilities, but also they don't need a system that is a weapon. SWIFT is finished. In the future, not now, but in the future, SWIFT is finished. Unless they change, there's no way SWIFT is going to tell any governmental entity no. They're not going to do it, which means they're finished. In steps the new financial system. So I really don't have to go much further than that in this particular article. But we're going to dominate. That's a lot of capital. We're talking about hundreds of billions of dollars, possibly trillions when you think about it cumulatively, flowing across some DLT somewhere. And right now in those regions, as I said, XRP's deep there, Hedera's deep there. These are facts. We've shown you documents, showing you article after article. You can look them up for yourself. XRP's deep there, Hedera, Algorand, and Stellar right now. That may change in the future. Who knows? And if it changes, we'll adjust accordingly. Let's move on here, right? A little bit of oil news. Then we'll close out with a little bit of gold news. So here it says, this is from seekingalpha.com, and it goes as such. Oil pipeline problems disrupt flows from Canada to U.S. Okay, so let's read a little bit and see what's going on here. Multiple oil pipeline outages. Multiple, that's interesting. Across Western Canada have disrupted petroleum flows to the U.S. and global markets. Why did that happen? Why did that occur? Two of Canada's largest oil sands upgrading facilities, Syncrude and Canadian Natural Resources Horizon, have dealt with disruptions this month, causing supply cuts to customers that prompted Enbridge to seek more crude earlier this week for its mainline system, which delivers to several refiners. TC Energy's Keystone Pipeline was hit earlier this week. Okay, what is going on? This is a little bit suspicious. Well, it seems like that to me. All at the same time? I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. That's suspicious. In my humble opinion. Was hit earlier this week by power outages due to ice accumulation. Okay, all right. Not suspicious. All right, there we go. Pembina Pipelines, this is what they say. Pembina Pipelines' northern line that transports natural gas liquids has been temporarily suspended after a spill in Alberta. No, listen, there's too many of these different things happening at the same time. So although they say ice accumulation, I don't know. I still question it. Listen, they had problems with electrical facilities recently. Then they discovered that there were individuals doing things to electrical facilities. That's suspicious to me. Why? Did anybody ever find out why they were doing that? They caught them. So that's a fact. So when I see things like this, I say that's a little, somebody might want to do a deep investigation into that and ask some questions and protect. I don't care what it is. If it's vital to people's lives, protect it. We'll see what happens. Just my humble thoughts. Canada is a major supplier of crude to U.S. refiners, and the supply disruptions have raised prices for the low sulfur grades produced by Canadian upgraders. All right, so, we'll keep an eye on that, and hopefully things can continue to go positively. Let's move on here. End off with a little bit of gold news. Love gold news, love gold, silver. In my humble opinion, it's the best way to protect your value. Stable coins is not. Gold historically holds its value through everything. Silver is poised to explode. Just my humble opinion, you need silver in all of the electric vehicles. You need silver in the solar panels. It is one of the best conductors of electricity. So you're going to need silver in more and more things as everything starts to go electric. More silver for all the different housing things. People's full houses are going digital. I've seen it. It's a little bit frightening, but I've seen it. So you're going to need more silver. As that silver demand increases, that price is going to go up. They're going to have to mine more. And people are going to be holding silver. Some people are holding a ton of silver already in preparation. So just my humble opinion. So this is from fxleaders.com, and the article is titled Gold Price Prediction, XAU USD, facing resistance near $1,932 as Fed talks turn hawkish. Wasn't I just saying the other day how flip-floppy the Fed is? They're playing everything on the fly. Got to be careful. Stay on your toes. Be ready to make a move. The gold price is down today, following the downward trend with strong selling pressure and hawkish comments from the Federal Reserve officials. One day they're dovish, the next day they're hawkish. This would be like every day. You got to stay up on those catalysts. Read that gold news. The U.S. 10-year Treasury yield is now near 3.42%. As for the U.S. dollar index, it is showing a lackluster performance thus far, oscillating around its historic range above 101.60. With signs of declining inflation, it might look like the goal has been reached, but that's not true. Inflation is still way below target. Or what do you mean, way below target? I mean, way above target. Maybe I'm reading that incorrectly. It says, and needs to be at 2%. Yeah, they're bringing it down to 2%, right? So it's way above target, I would think. It says, despite the Fed's interest payments announced, a continuation is possible. Despite the Fed's interest payments announcement. Okay, yeah, okay. A continuation is possible. I told people that. Listen, I stand firm with what I've been saying so far. They should keep it where it was or a little bit higher to bring inflation down. But, you know, we will continue to monitor this and see where it goes. It says, from a recent survey, Fed Chair Jerome Powell will hold off on interest rate hikes for the rest of CY 2023. Okay, so now that you have that information, what are you going to do with it? I know what I'm going to do with it. So until next time, let's get to the money.